Well, SummerSlam is coming to us hot and heavy this coming weekend, and Monday Night Raw was the go-home show for the biggest party of the summer, and we got a lot to talk about. So, with that, welcome to 716 Sports Entertainment Podcast. I am your host, Mike, joined by Mr. Real Deal S. O'Neill, and Sean. I know we took a little bit of a hiatus last week to kind of reset the wheels here, but how are we feeling as we are getting ready for SummerSlam this weekend?
So after taking a week to reset the algorithm, I think that this was definitely a weird episode of Monday Night Raw for a go-home show. Um, the past few months, it feels like their go-home shows have been pretty decent, but this one just, I don't know, something about it felt kind of off, and there were a couple things missing that I would have liked to have seen, but it wasn't terrible. I can at least say that.
Yeah, I mean, there were some parts of it that are just kind of like, what are we doing? And we'll get into that a little bit, but I don't know. At least there was some wrestling on this show and some surprises on this show, but some of the segments were just a bit clunky, I guess is probably the way I want to describe it. But let's get right into it. Ahead of the Hell in the Cell match this weekend between Brock Lesnar and Oba Femi, the combatants took to the squared circle for an official weigh-in. I, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about weigh-ins these days in professional wrestling. I think it's just like a little kind of stupid. But I mean, this segment, I don't know. This segment could have been better. Oba comes out first. He's in the ring with HHH and Adam Pearce and a bunch of cops. And the cage comes down. He gets his weigh-in and he's 302 pounds. And then Brock comes out, and Brock locks the door. So Oba is trapped in there. And, Paul Heyman kind of, as the microphone kept cutting out, kind of made a funny comment about how the sound guy should be fired for that. The He noted that Brock Lesnar, wow, use your words, Mike, that Brock Lesnar was in fact 303 pounds. And then, him and Oba argued, and he was basically like, I'm not locked in here. You're locked in here with me. And they both flip each other off. And, Brock called him a bitch. And that kind of ended the segment. And I felt like while this was a spectacle, I have a couple of questions. Why was HHH out there? And what was the point of this? Why didn't Oba kick the door down? Why wasn't this a brawl? Like, this was stupid. It should have just been a pull-apart brawl. It really should have just been a pull-apart brawl. You had all those cops there, and Oba luckily almost killed one of them by, dropping him on his head incorrectly.
That was the guy's fault, not Oba's.
No, I know, but still, it was just like, the whole thing was just super clunky, and I don't feel I don't feel very good about this. And if Saturday's match has any other outcome other than Oba's victory, I think that this segment, this company, and everything else deserves every bit of criticism they're going to receive.
Where's the career stipulation? Is Brock not retiring anymore?
Apparently not.
I'm very curious what's going on with that because, unless TKO, which obviously the weigh-in thing was no doubt input from TKO, which is no doubt why Triple H was out there to make it official because Dana White's always out at the weigh-ins for the UFC things. So I imagine that's why he was out there as the de facto authority figure. But de facto authority figure along with the cops. Today's going to be an episode of quotes, but
The H.
I don't think I'm using them correctly. So I think that the whole thing was a waste of time. I much rather would have just have the weigh-in, have them get in each other's faces, and beat the hell out of the security guards. I don't know if you saw, but Oba, after the dude botched the fall from grace, Oba gave him a swift kick on the way out. So looked like Oba was pissed. But I think it was just, I get what they were going for, but it didn't hit the way it was supposed to. And I think it would have hit better. If you're going to have Brock lock the door, have Oba kick it open and go after
Yep.
him.
Exactly.
Like, and then I don't like Oba flipping him off. Like that definitely feels like a Brock thing to do, but I don't know. Something about me didn't like Oba doing it back.
Yeah. No, I'm completely with you on that. And like clunky is just what I'm going to go with for this one. And I think that, like I said before, if this is anything other than an Oba Femi victory on Saturday, I think WWE like needs to just, you know, I don't even know what they need to do, but they're going to deserve every bit of backlash they're going to get.
You mean
Because
backlash?
if you have Brock win this thing, like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Like, what a shitstorm. I mean, I don't think Brock is going to win. I'm pretty confident Oba's going to win, but man, this is like just the WrestleMania build and everything that happened at WrestleMania. That should have just been the end of this. Like, I'm glad. Like, I'm glad that this is probably the finale of this one, but I don't know how much more Brock Lesnar I want around, to be honest with you, after this.
This not having the career stipulation attached to it, I think makes the WrestleMania match feel pointless. Um and it makes it feel like why did we even bother turning this into a series? Like why wasn't this all just saved for SummerSlam here? You know what I mean? It just it makes it feel like we spent all this time building something that is less consequential than it should be. And you're right. Oba 100% needs to win this. I don't I mean there's a lot of times where I think WWE's writers room is incredibly stupid, but I don't think they could even screw this one up. And if they do, heads need to roll.
Yep. Speaking of heads that need to roll, let's talk about another character who has just completely fallen by the wayside and is now just barely beating jobbers. And that is, of course, the Vision, specifically Braun Breaker. Braun Breaker, who struggled to beat Otis and Akira Tozawa this week and gave them quite the fine showing. Now, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. Like, you needed Logan Paul interference and Maxine Dupree interference to beat Otis in this match, and you were in January about to be the world heavyweight champion, and you've fallen that far down the card. I am disgusted with, and this nothing against this match, nothing against Otis and Tozawa. I am disgusted with how far down the card Braun Breaker has fallen, and you can tell how just you can see it in his face. He looks so miserable and so just like, what am I doing? This is what they're doing with me right now. Like you can see it in his face. He looks disgusted. He looks disappointed. He looks just like apathetic. And I feel bad for the guy. I really feel bad for the guy. There needs to be a study done on how far this dude has quickly just fallen off a cliff.
He's a victim of circumstance. It's not the problem is WWE has this story that they want to tell and that they had been setting up, and with the sheer amount of injuries that the Vision has had, they didn't have anybody else they could plug into that spot to team with Theory as part of the Vision. Because this no pun intended, theoretically, this should have been Logan Paul and Theory in this match. And Braun could still be off doing what he was doing. But due to the fact that the Vision is a de facto two-man group at the moment, that it kind of screws Braun Breaker inadvertently. And I think that's what the problem is I think that WWE should have stepped away from this story for now and gone back to it and kept Braun on the path he was on rather than inserting Braun into the tag team role to continue that storyline going forward. I think in the long run, Breaker will be fine once they get one of their members back and they can substitute them back into the tag team. And mind you, that's barring Braun doesn't turn on the Vision this weekend, which is a rumor that I've heard. So
The Vision aren't even on the card.
if there ends up being some sort of match added with them, there's rumors of them splitting him off. But like I said, I don't fault Braun for this. I don't fault the match or the storytelling for this. I put this as WWE being committed to telling this story when they should have approached it, I think, a little bit differently.
I guess. I think it's a stupid story. I
I
mean,
mean, what were you going to do with the whole Maxine thing? That was 100% going to be part of the story.
I guess so, but like, does it need to be done at the expense of Braun Breaker? Like, just
Like I
have this.
said, it's they're committed to telling the story they were going to tell. It's unfortunate that Braun was the only other person who was physically able to go as part of the Vision and had to fill that Logan Paul role. If
Just
Bronson, like, honestly, if I'm WWE, I have a healthy Bronson Reed who's ready to come back. I would have brought him back at like the last PLE and had him in the tag team role.
yeah. I mean, if in fact he's ready to come back, which I don't know why the hell he's not back yet and what they're waiting for, but I mean, bring this dude back and like start rebuilding Braun Breaker's credibility a little bit.
Exactly. That's basically what it comes down to. In as far as when I look at it, it's due to the fact that what was a four-man group is stuck as a two-man group at the moment.
And it kind of takes me to something else a little bit too. And this is kind of more of a, you know what, I'm going to save this. I'm going to save this until we get to the ending segment. But
Okay.
I think I just have a bigger problem, like a larger problem with just sort of heels in WWE. But I'll wait until we get into the main event segment before I start talking about that. But I'm just super disappointed, and I think the most interesting part of this whole group right now is Maxine Dupree, and I'm kind of surprised about that, to be completely honest with you.
No, I agree with you. I think that the story they can tell with her that does, and I mean, it is going to involve Otis somewhat because of they like to do the Otis being in love with people storyline. But I mean, because they did it with who previously? Was it who the hell was it?
Mandy Rose.
Yeah, Mandy Rose. So I don't know if this is a callback to that, but they definitely have some interesting places they could go with it. It's just unfortunate that circumstances put them with only the people that they have to fill in those roles.
I suppose.
And can I say that was a nasty looking chair shot?
Yeah,
Like the look on Logan Paul's face afterwards was priceless when Theory cranked Otis in the head. Like it looked nasty.
yeah, yeah. I mean, nothing against the match. Like I said, the match was fine, and I I don't dislike watching Otis wrestle. It's just I don't know. Tozawa's a joke character, so like it just does nothing for me.
Which sucks because Tozawa is actually a incredible wrestler. It was one of the things that I was hoping we would see when Alpha Academy was actually a thing was Gable taking Tozawa back to his roots.
Hmm. Next, we had Javon Evans versus Rusev, which saw Javon Evans pick up the win. This was set up due to a post-match angle where Rusev beat down Javon Evans after a singles match a couple of weeks ago. Uh, Javon, he was all over the place flying around this match. He got in a really awesome kind of kick off the top ropes, which I really liked. Rusev shrugged it off, got him in the accolade a couple of times, and Javon kept kind of powering out of it. Ultimately, he added the OG cutter to pick up the win, and this was a very good like power versus speed kind of match, if you will. And I hope that this, I don't want to see Rusev lose, but I think Rusev is just kind of squarely in the mid card at this point. But at the same time, I hope that this maybe is a bit of a momentum building win for Javon.
Apparently, Rusev stormed off afterwards, so I'm very curious to see what comes out of that. But there's also talk that during the match itself, Rusev had a medical issue. So
Interesting.
Yeah, so I'm very curious to see what news comes out about that. Because if I'm Rusev, honestly, I'd be happy. I'm being used. I'm getting wins. It may not be every week, but he's being used frequently in things, and he's constantly floating around that IC title picture. So right now he's in a better place than he was in the clown show that is WCW, and Mick Foley barking. But
Nah,
I
nah,
think
nah.
that woof, bow, bow, wow, bow, whatever the hell
For
that
like
was.
21 straight seconds, but
Yeah,
yeah, I
like
guess.
clown show. But like back to my main point, if I'm Rusev, I'm much happier where I am now in WWE than I would be over there. And I mean, you're still putting on great matches. You're helping put over great talent like Javon Evans, and you put on a very competitive match. So I think that if they want to continue this feud, I'm perfectly okay with that. If they want to keep using Rusev with all ego Ethan Page, I'm cool with that. And I'm very interested to see where they go with both these guys.
Also, did you catch the when Javon Evans looked right into the camera and was like, "We'll be right back" as soon as it went to commercial break? I love that. I thought that was hysterical.
Yeah, no, which still aggravates the hell out of me that we have commercial breaks on Netflix.
Yep. So next we had probably the worst segment on the show, and that was, of course, the Joe Hendry and Danhausen concert, which went on way too long
To build up to what it gave us, yeah.
to build up to what became a match between Danhausen and Dominic Mysterio at SummerSlam, which we all knew was coming, but again, I just a waste. This concert segment went on way too long. It eventually saw the Judgment Day's Dominic Mysterio, JD McDonough, and then eventually welterweight champion Ryan Garcia come out, who blasted Joe Hendry with the guitar, and then saw the heels just beat them down to ultimately have Adam Pearce set up this match backstage. This was just too much for me. Like I don't mind Danhausen, but I don't know if it was just the addition of Joe Hendry or what it was here, but this went on way too long. It was way too dumb. And I don't need this in my I don't need this level of dumbness this long in my wrestling. I don't need it.
It was way too long because, mind you, I'm a fan of both Joe Hendry and Danhausen, and you could even catch. I don't know if there was a part where it almost looked like Danhausen looked over his shoulder and was like, "Why is this going on as long as it is?" Because I was fine with it for the first little while of it, and that's when you should have had the Judgment Day do their thing, but it just stretched on and to crickets because of how long it went on. And it just, and then on top of it, we go from the Judgment Day beating them up with TKO's forced inclusion of some random boxing champion who I have no idea who the hell he even is. I'm like, who is this random guy in the ring hitting Joe Hendry with the guitar?
Yep.
But it leads to the announcement in back from Adam Pearce that apparently Vince Russo is now back writing for the WWE, and we're getting an on a pole match. I mean, obviously, it will never be as great as a Judy Bagwell on a pole match, but a Human Money's on a pole match. I mean, it's very, very Russo esque, and as funny as a lot of that stuff is to me, I don't think a lot of today's modern audience will understand that reference.
No.
Like, and the whole concept of something on a pole in a match. And I mean, I have no doubt that Dominic and Danhausen will be able to turn, what is it, to turn garbage
Lemons
into
into
gold.
lemonade.
Yeah, garbage into gold here because I feel like the two of them could turn a goofy match like this into something. But this whole particular segment of Raw was way too long and honestly probably unnecessary, especially since it doesn't even involve Joe Hendry.
So this is the kind of thing that this is the kind of thing where if you live with your friends or you live with your spouse or you live with anybody else and they don't like wrestling or they don't understand wrestling, this is the kind of thing where if you're watching wrestling and somebody walks into the room and sees this, it reaffirms the fact that they think wrestling is for children and that wrestling is stupid.
Is a joke.
Yeah, it's a joke, right? And like wrestling is for kids. And I don't have an argument to counter that because like it's stupid. Like this is like it was stupid. It wasn't funny. It was stupid. You got like midget, like it felt very Vince McMahon-esque. You had midgets out there, or little people. I apologize,
Little
but you know what
people.
I mean. Like you like ridiculous. Like it was very Vince McMahon-esque. Like it's the kind of thing that Vince finds funny. And I thought the whole thing was like just cringy, to be honest with you. Like I was like, really, this is like 20 minutes of this. Like, come on.
That was the exact word that I was using in my head when I was watching it last night. When it got to about the halfway point, was that this is absolute cringe. And like I get that the Minniehausens are part of Danhausen's retinue and all that, but right about that segment and right about when the conga line came out is where the Judgment Day should have come out and ended this. And
Yeah.
I get that their whole thing was they wanted to do the cheap local pop with the Clippers girls, but once again, this is another case of TKO and WWE wanting to use local publicity as a thing. You know what I mean? And like I said, the other thing I don't understand, like I get, like Danhausen has sort of been feuding with the Judgment Day too, but or not Danhausen, Joe Hendry, but Joe Hendry has nothing to do with what's going to be happening at SummerSlam.
Yep.
So like, why did we need to have this as like a concert segment? You know what I mean? Like I
Mhm.
get when he does it against like when he's in the middle of a feud, but it felt incredibly misplaced here.
Yeah. So ahead of the big six-man tag team match at SummerSlam, the Bloodline against Solo Sikoa, LA Knight, and Royce Keys the saw the Usos make their way down to the ring and of course run it back, only to be interrupted by Solo Sikoa. Eventually, LA Knight, but then Jacob made his way down, ultimately to see Royce Keys make his way down. And this just kind of turned into a slobber knocker of a brawl between all six of these guys, which ultimately saw the face team. I guess we're going to call them the face team. Standing tall in the ring, ultimately kind of pointing them down, and Jacob getting completely like angry and sort of pissed off that he couldn't like go back in after he kind of got blasted with all of three of the faces, if you will. It's kind of weird calling Solo Sikoa a face, but I'm going to run with it. After getting hit with all three of their finishers and ultimately getting tossed out of the ring here. Again, fine. Like this just sort of hyped up the six-man tag team match for this weekend. I the faces need to win here, right? And it's what I want to go into my rant now because I think this is kind of a good segment for it, a good segment with which to do it. So I want to ask you something. Who is the top heel in WWE right now?
The fact that it's taking me as long as it is to think about this is a problem.
Gunther, right? Is it Gunther?
Well, there isn't a heel in the Roman Seth feud. There isn't a heel in the Cody Punk feud. I mean, it's either Gunther or Sami Zayn. And who would it be on Raw? I mean,
Can I Braun Breaker? I mean,
the,
can you take a look at this match right here? Because this is a perfect match to look at it. Are any of these guys heels?
I mean, with the way the Bloodline's been acting, I think that they, revenge of the quotes here, fall into the heel territory. But, um, and honestly, I think that if this is face Solo, they should never turn him heel again. Um,
Roman
but you're
Reigns,
right.
they don't treat Roman Reigns like a heel.
No, but with the way the Bloodline has been acting, they have been, and like the way they've been interfering in things. But WWE constantly has a problem with the heel face dynamic because you'll have faces interfering in matches just as frequently as heels do. I think the thing that distinguishes the Bloodline is that they've just been like extra skeevy about doing it. But it's it's a real like I think we should take a sec and actually I mean we could probably look at the entire SummerSlam card and see who the how hard it is to tell heel and face dynamics across a lot of them. You know what I mean?
I mean, Brock Lesnar's the heel, I guess, right?
I guess.
I
I mean,
mean,
he fills the heel role, but Brock Lesnar's not there enough to be classified as anything other than a in-betweener.
yeah.
Gunther is the heel against Aldis. The Gable Penta, there's no heel. I guess. I mean, who's the heel in Baron Corbin versus Trick Williams?
I mean, Trick Williams is being treated like a face, but I guess he's technically a heel. But then, I don't
What the
really
hell's
know.
Baron Corbin?
Yeah, I don't know.
And then, like I said, the main events. I mean, honestly, the women's division is the easiest thing to tell apart.
I don't know. It's very bizarre to me that WWE has no top heel. Roman Reigns, while he was the tribal chief, not the OTC, but the tribal chief, he was the top heel. He was the top heel in the company. Now they have no top heel in the company.
And like Seth usually plays a top heel,
Right,
but
but he hasn't been. He's not now. We need one of the four guys, and I'm going to actually probably say one of the three guys because I don't count Seth anymore because Seth was already a heel and Seth has been a heel. Seth goes back and forth. Roman, Cody, or Punk, one of them needs to turn heel.
so the rumor is that WWE trademarked the term RK Rhodes. I think Cody might turn heel and team with Randy.
That would be bizarre. I don't know how they're going to tell that story, but
But if that's the case, Cody would need to win, and I don't know that Cody's going to win. Or he comes out and they're beating him down after the match. But out of everybody there, I mean, I feel like obviously turning Roman would be the easiest because he's already been a heel as the tribal chief and he could very easily just revert back into the full tribal chief role. But I don't think he's the best choice. I think either Punk or Cody would be the way to go, but I feel like Raw would be the better show to have the heel on because it's the better show. And it puts it in a real awkward place. And like you said, Seth's already been heel. I think he's at that point where he's going to be face for a little while again.
yeah.
But he's another one that kind of walks that fine line of he kind of is a heel even when he's a face. You know what I mean?
Yeah. There's no top heel in WWE, and I think that kind of makes it a little less interesting.
You had one, and then when you had Gunther as the legend killer, you had the opportunity to have a monster heel. And you know what? I'm all for Aldis having a match and everything because he never really got his shot with WWE. But they need to make this some way that they can get Gunther back on track and have him retire Aldis.
I think he needs to be champion.
That's
I don't think it's going to happen.
that's the problem.
I don't think it's like he's anywhere near going to be champion anytime soon based on the way they tell stories. I feel like Punk is going to be champion for a while.
Yep.
And then Cody will be the one to beat him, probably at WrestleMania. And I think Roman is going to be champion for a while. And I think Oba will be the one to beat him.
Yep, Oba's gonna be your next champ.
Oba will beat Roman. Cody will probably beat Punk at WrestleMania. Actually, they'll both probably lose at WrestleMania. So I would imagine those titles are probably not going to change for like another 8-9 months.
You think Roman holds it all the way to Mania?
I do.
Even though he's probably not gonna be around come fall?
Probably, unless he loses to Seth right now, which is the right thing to do.
Because you could have him lose to Seth and then Oba beat Seth.
I guess. I mean, I don't know. What do you? I'm having a hard time with this. I don't know. What do you think the right way to book Oba is after the Brock thing?
Um, honestly, I think you have Roman go over Seth, and then Oba, they start to do the Money at the Bank qualifiers, and Oba's like, you know what? I beat Brock. I never got my World Championship King of the Ring match. I'm demanding that. He gets that at Money at the Bank in October, I think is when that is, and he wins the title.
When does he win the title?
I think I would say I would book it like they start to do like the Money at the Bank qualifiers, and he's like, why should I have to qualify for something like that when I never got my King of the Ring opportunity? So they book a title match for Money at the Bank, and he wins the title at Money at the Bank. And I think that using the, oh well, we were going to have you take part in the qualifiers, and him say, why should I have to do that when I already should have a title shot? You know what I mean? I wouldn't wait any longer than probably Survivor Series. I think that it, because I don't know what where you're going to use him storyline wise after he's done with the Brock story here. You know what I mean? Like what kind of story do you tell with Oba after he's done with Brock? And I think getting him into the title picture, and I think he needs to win it on his first shot. And I think when he loses it, he needs to lose it to whoever the Money at the Bank holder is. Because they'll cash in on him after he was just like in a grueling match or something.
Yeah.
Because that gives you a way to keep him looking strong.
Yeah. No, I suppose you're right.
I mean, you have to tread very carefully when it comes to him. I mean, look at Brock. I mean, Brock came in, and it looks like they're following a very similar, or they were following a very similar path with Oba as they did Brock. Come in, just kick ass, win King of the Ring, and he won the title at SummerSlam off The Rock. So that was what I was originally thought they were going to do with Oba. And I mean, with a big star like Roman, but I could, with them doing the Brock thing, I wouldn't be surprised if they do something similar to how I fantasy booked it.
Guess
I'll
what?
submit my resume, WWE.
Right to the writer's room, right to the front of the line. 3 weeks after their previous encounter for the Women's Intercontinental Championship, we had a surprise title change, which saw Raquel Rodriguez defeat Sol Ruca to become the new Women's Intercontinental Championship. After there was a ton of interference, which saw both Roxanne Perez, Liv Morgan come out to try and cost Sol Ruca, and then eventually Io Sky would come out to wipe out Liv Morgan. But this allowed Roxanne to distract Sol Ruca, who was on the ropes attempting to hit the Soul Snatcher, which allowed Raquel Rodriguez to hit the Tavana Bomb to pick up the win and the new title. This was a big surprise, and I am stunned that they put the title onto Raquel.
I have one question for you. Why? 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 What is the point of this? Why are we putting this title randomly on Roxanne Rodriguez and not Raquel Perez? Like I don't get it. Like, I'm sorry, I'm stuttering here because my word of the day, flabbergasted. Like, bring out Michael Cole's word of the day calendar here, and I am dumbfounded as to what the decision making behind this was. You've already had her lose to Soul. All of a sudden, she's here again, and on a random Monday Night Raw, the week before SummerSlam, you're going to have her win it? What is the point? Like,
What was
honestly,
the point of Becky Lynch working to get Sol Ruca over as a champion on the main roster, only for her to lose her title, what, 2 defenses later?
to Raquel?
Yeah.
Like,
Not,
I get,
not
I mean,
acceptable, WWE.
I get they're going to say, oh, well, there was all this interference, yada, yada. Okay, then have her drop it to Roxanne.
Very.
Like,
I consider Sol Ruca buried at this point.
I don't know what do you do with her now?
Buried.
Like,
I don't trust her to do anything. I mean, maybe she'll win Money in the Bank, but even if she does win Money in the Bank, she's gonna be like one of those Nikki, almost a superhero type of characters where she'll like go in, she'll win the title, she'll be like a big time person, and then
and drop it a week later.
she'll immediately lose it in her first defense.
I mean, they made a big deal out of showing down by the river Lyra and back, and I'm guessing that she's going to be your next challenger and winner of it most likely. So unless Raquel is just going to be a like a transitional champ for Lyra to win the belt off of her, but have Sol lose to her.
Yeah.
Give her another month or so with the belt and have her just drop the belt to Lyra. Like
Or just do Lyra versus Sol at SummerSlam.
right. Like and I don't understand it. Like why Raquel? Like it's just random as hell to me. I don't get it. And I mean, or hell, have Bailey come back and win it. Like supposedly she came back at a house show or something, so she isn't gone yet. And I'm very curious to see if she actually comes back to TV. But I don't understand the thinking behind this. And if any of our viewers like why Raquel? Like, does that make any sense to you? Because it certainly does not to me.
I I don't know. I don't know the answer to any of this. It's just the whole thing is incredibly confusing to me. That
I mean,
it
it's
just seems
just
like it seems like such a waste of Sol Ruca's character.
right. Like to and Lady Diesel isn't really like anything special. I mean, she's literally the female version of Kevin Nash when Shawn Michaels was around.
Yeah.
And it just I don't know. It just and I hate to use the word buried, but I part of me feels like you're right with it. And I mean I guess we have to see what they do with her, but as of right now, I have zero faith in what WWE is doing with Sol Ruca.
Yeah. So I don't know. I guess we'll have to wait and see. But like you said, I don't feel good about it. I don't feel good where they're going with her, and it's such a shame because she's another one of these supposed to be the future of the company. I just don't understand why they can't book younger wrestlers well.
Nope.
Like you just did, they cannot book younger wrestlers well at all. And like you look up and down the younger wrestlers on the card, and they're not booked well at all. And it's just such a shame. It's just really it's such a shame that you've got a 47-year-old and a 40-year-old and a 41-year-old and a 42-year-old in the two main events of your biggest show of the second biggest show of the year.
How old is Seth?
I think Seth's 41.
Really?
I think so.
But it's crazy too because Sol Ruca is such a hugely marketable star.
Yep.
Like
she's got the look. She's got the look.
She's homegrown.
She's a good wrestler. She's homegrown.
She is a tremendous athlete, homegrown. She is like a huge success story with all the injuries and stuff she's battled back from. Like you make such a big deal about how she was a former like Division 1 gymnast. Like kids love her. She's got a great look. Her theme fits her for once, and it feels like an easy home run that WWE is gonna miss the boat on.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't I don't know. I don't really know what they're gonna do with her. It's just really disappointing, I guess. But I don't know. Let's move on to the main event, I guess, and just kind of see where they go. And I don't really want to just sit here and just continue to complain about it, but like, that's just kind of what leads me to just state that this show was just kind of the way it was.
Yeah.
So the last segment of the show saw Seth Rollins interrupt Roman Reigns' main event promo and wasted little time telling him that the OTC has it all. He cannot claim to be better than Seth Rollins until he can claim to be a better professional wrestler than the Visionary. And Roman kind of rebutted with, the whole industry needs me to beat you. And then Seth went on to say, hope your whole family is there to watch me on Sunday because I'd like nothing more than to make them cry again. And then, this obviously got Roman incredibly pissed off. He ultimately sucker punched Rollins and they kind of went back and forth. Ultimately saw Rollins recover to hit the stomp when Roman went for a chair to pick up, to stand tall, to close out the show. Roman's going to win.
Yeah, I mean,
Roman's
just
going to win.
the
Seth has stood tall
theory.
almost every time. Roman's
Yep,
going to win.
the theory of whoever stands tall right before is most likely in effect here. And I mean, this story pretty much writes itself just because of these two guys' history. They've done a real good job of selling that history, not that they need to, but I really enjoyed the whole I'm a better professional wrestler than you'll ever be that Seth has been on because he's not wrong. And I think honestly, Seth is more of the total package than Roman is, but I think Roman is more marketable. A, because he's Dwayne's cousin, and I think his look is just more marketable. But you're right. I'm hoping for a Seth win, but as of right now, I'm leaning 90-10 towards a Roman win.
What do you do with Rollins after this?
That's the problem. What do you do with a lot of these guys after here? I mean, yeah, this is a real easy short term storytelling for Roman and Seth, but you're right. I mean, unless they have another match, I mean, I guess we could turn this into a two two thing feud, and that'll give them some time to figure out what they could possibly do. But I don't know where I take Seth from here. Do you give him time off? I mean, he came back from injury, what, a couple months ago? Maybe give him a month off?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know what you do with him if he loses, right? Like I don't know. Like Roman can go on to anything if Roman loses, right? But like if Roman wins, he goes like probably goes on to Oba, right? Or more Bloodline Survivor Series type stuff, right? Like versus maybe like you do some kind of thing with Seth Solo, Royce Keys, and Southern California Night versus the Bloodline. You know, you could do another thing between Southern California Night and Roman Reigns as well, right? But I don't know where you go with Seth.
If Seth loses, does he make it into the Money at the Bank match?
I don't think he maybe, but I don't think he wins it 2 years in a row. Do you?
No, but you could utilize that to set up some sort of other feud because they've done that before. Like a minor feud that comes out of that. I don't know who I would have him feud with, but I mean, I do feel like they had a really big missed opportunity by not having him form a group to go against the Vision, which is another byproduct of the fact that the Vision is currently two people. But I'm trying to think who on the roster he could feud with.
I don't know. I don't know. I really, I mean, I guess we're just gonna kind of have to watch and wait and see. But like, I don't know. I just don't know where you go with Rollins from here. I guess I would be very curious to hear what our audience thinks about where you go with Rollins from here. But I feel like,
Maybe Jacob?
yeah, maybe that feels like a step down, though.
I mean, if going from the title picture to anywhere but the title picture is automatically a step down, you know what I mean?
No, but like you go from challenging the champion to challenging the champion's lackey.
Trying to fight his way back to
I
challenging
mean,
the champ.
Jacob's a lackey now. You know, I just like Jacob's out of the main event scene too. There's another one who needs to be studied. I don't know how WWE has managed
I
to
know who
fumble
it's going to
so
be.
many characters.
It's going to be Big Bill.
Rollins versus Big Bill.
What the hell's his name? Big Cass.
Yeah,
The returning Big Cass, have him take out Rollins. Like have because he's due to be there the night after SummerSlam. You have Rollins out there and talking about how he failed and everything. And what better return than to take out one of the top guys?
Yeah, I suppose if they could do that.
I think if I'm gonna book it, I think if I have Rollins lose, I think that's what I do. Hell, even if I have Rollins win, I think that's what I might do. Especially if you're having Cass come back as a solo act and not bringing his ferret with him.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think you're probably right. I just, I don't know. These things just seem so rushed, and so many characters just seem like so whatever. I just, I'm not that hyped about this SummerSlam, to be completely honest with you. I'm really not. Like, I'm going to watch it and I'm looking forward to it, but like, I'm not looking forward to it. Like, can't wait for it. There's not one match other than Brock and Opa, which I already know how that's going to end. That's like jumping off the page at me that, oh, I want to see it, because the story has not been that great for this match. The story has not been that great for the other main event. I don't even know what the heck we're doing with Liv and Io, who had Liv had a backstage segment at one point, and then Io continues to just kind of just beat her up, but in like comedy segments. So I don't really take Liv's title very seriously. I don't take Liv seriously as a champion. So
That's,
it's like I'm not looking forward to like any of the quote unquote major matches on this show. I think the only really feel good moment that's going to happen on the show is when Master Gable wins the title against Penta. But I don't know. I shouldn't be spoiling too many of my predictions, but
I mean,
surprise.
those are easy ones. Like, it's not like I'm not going to pick the exact same thing for that one. Like, it's in his home state, and
Which they
it's
said
the
like 17 times on this show.
yeah, and it's like the perfect culmination to Master Gable's story. So, like, I don't know. You're right though. This is probably one of the least intriguing SummerSlams in a long time. I mean, it'll have great wrestling on it. These matches themselves will be great wrestling. But storyline wise, they are, I won't quite say lacking, because they do have stories, but they aren't the greatest. I mean, like, we all know that Nikki Bella is probably going to turn on Paige and Brie at in that six-woman tag match. Like, it feels like a lot of the stuff for this is feels very telegraphed.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I think you're right. So, oh, and we also forgot to mention Ethan Page beat Rey Mysterio in kind of a
It was a
nothing
good match.
match. Yeah, I completely forgot to mention that. It was a good match, but it was mostly a nothing match. I mean, it's just 50-50 booking. Ray beat him last time. So now
Yeah,
Ethan needs to beat him this time
Ethan had
again.
to get his win back.
Yeah, so it's fine. But that was Monday Night Raw. So how you feeling about this go home show, and what's your final rating for the show?
I was gonna say give him one of these, but I think that it was an average show. Like I said at the beginning, as far as go home shows go, Raw has typically been the better of the two shows for the last couple months. This one just really was kind of blah. It was like it was there, but it didn't really do anything special for me.
Yeah.
So I can't give it anything more than like a 3 or a C.
Yeah, no, I'm completely with you. The show was just completely forgettable. So many of the stakes just don't matter at all for
No.
so many of these SummerSlam matches because the builds have been sloppy, the builds have been stupid, the builds have been way too short, the builds just don't make sense, and there's so many characters that are not interesting, and the ones that are interesting, they're not booking correctly. Like LA Knight is super interesting right now. Solo is super interesting right now. But I just don't care about them fighting the bloodline again. Like, make LA Knight champion.
Speaking of Solo, his monologue was fantastic. Gonna run it back for 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Bore everybody with the yeet.
Right. Yeah. So I don't know. I guess with that, I think my final rating for the show is a I need to beat you out of 5. And yeah, that was Raw. Odd show, uninspired, and I just don't think it generated any excitement for SummerSlam this weekend. So I guess we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, where we go from here, we will watch SummerSlam this weekend, and we shall see. So with that, I have been Mike, joined by Mr. Real Deal. Guys, thank you so much for all of the support. Look forward to our prediction video coming out later this week, and all of our reviews of the shows coming up this weekend. We're going to have a lot of content for you guys this week as we are back and ready to kick some wrestling butt. So with that, I have been Mike, joined by Mr. Real Deal. Have yourselves a fantastic evening and take care.